What's up and welcome. My name is Eileen. I'm a nationally certified Pilates instructor, and today we're going to be planning my next Pilates class. I just made my coffee. Joseph Pilates once said to teach to the body that's in front of you. So I do plan these classes ahead of time just for my own sanity and to have an idea of what I want to achieve for that class. But depending on who is signed up for the class, sometimes that will go out the window, anything that I've planned. If I have someone that maybe is new or that has an injury, whatever I've planned might not happen. So this is kind of what I do to just mentally prepare for the class, and then depending on who's in it is what we end up doing. So this video is specifically for my next group class, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. Now, I don't always plan my classes. I definitely did when I was in training. It was very, very helpful to plan things out, especially as I was learning how to become a Pilates instructor and teach a class. Now it's a little bit more just second nature to me. It becomes a lot easier over time the more that you teach your classes. This is what I'll do if maybe I want to change something up, or if I want to kind of just lay it out. I'm a very visual person, so sometimes just writing it out will help. Depending on who's in the class, like I mentioned, I'll go ahead and check the schedule, see who's already signed up, and from there I can kind of gauge what the class should feel like and the energy I want to go with. Sometimes I'll do a more restorative class, sometimes it's going to be a little more spicy. I'm just going to walk you through how I plan my classes. All right, so the class tomorrow, I already have something in mind. Usually what I like to do is I'll think of a theme and then kind of just build around that theme. So this is for my group classes. It's all levels. I have to keep in mind that everyone has different goals and limitations, but when you work with a theme, it makes it, I think, more fun because you're kind of building from that bubble of everything tying into one central theme. The theme that I want to go for tomorrow is going to be one red spring. So I'm going to plan a class around just using one red spring on the reformer. I do have a Pilates planner that I typically lay everything out in, but I'm going to go ahead and use my just personal Pilates on the green template. Alrighty. This little template that I created has become so useful for me. I used to use one on GoodNotes that I designed on Canva. That was good when I could write things down, but then once I started using Notion, my life changed because Notion is pretty awesome. It's where I keep everything nice and organized. All right, so I created a section for tomorrow's class. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. What's not gonna apply for the one red spring is we're gonna start with footwork just to warm up. So I'm just gonna add in footwork here. And then what I do is I'll look at the positioning. So footwork, supine, and then for springs, we're gonna be doing a red, a blue, and then 2 greens. Depending on the reformer that you're working with, these springs might be different. I used to teach with 3 reds, a yellow, and a blue, but now the studio that I teach at uses green springs, so that was a whole adjustment on learning. So for a type, it's just neutral spine here. I created these little sections just because when I'm planning a class, I do like to move the body in all realms. So you want to definitely add in just moving the body in every type of way, just for a nice whole class. And then in the note section, I'm not really going to add anything. If I did want to add something in my mind, I'll say, okay, we're going to start with heels together, toes apart. If I wanted to make any extra notes, I can use it here. Like, let's say they are going to be holding the magic circle in their hands and then arms are going to be extended up. That's where I would add in little notes. We can just do, just for the purpose of this video, I'll do heels together, toes apart, and then arches on parallel. And then we'll go down to toes on the bar. So it kind of just might look messy, but it's just in my mind. I'll just write toes and I'll know what that means. All right, so after footwork, I always love to add the series of 5 sprinkled into all of my classes, whether it's spread throughout or as one chunk. I'm actually going to save this for when we go in the long box. So I'm not going to do the series of 5 right after footwork. What we'll do is I'll have them do footwork, and then we'll do some bridges just to warm up the spine a little bit. Make sure the headrest is down. So we'll do bridge series here, and then that's supine as well. For springs, it's going to be the same, 2 greens, a red and a blue. And then, all right, so for bridge series, here's where I'd put the foot positioning if I wanted to just kind of jot it down. We can start wide, we can go together in the center of the foot bar. We can press out and in once the hips are lifted. We can do marches. We can do single leg. So here's where I kind of would jot that all down. I kind of will just feel it out tomorrow depending on how my clients are feeling. I always like to say squeeze those buns when we do like little pulses up and down. I hope they don't hate that I say that every single time. All right, so then now I'll have them do a couple of roll ups. And this is going to be up to, I guess you start supine and then we go into seated here. And then we're staying on the same springs. So red and blue. And then we're going into some flexion here as we roll up. And then here is where the one red spring theme will come into play. So I'm gonna do supine arms. And so they'll roll all the way back down after those roll-ups, and then it's just going to be one red spring for the supine arms, which is going to target their core a little bit more. It's going to be neutral and flexion. So with the one red spring, it's good because then we can do some single arm work, and then I'll kind of just play around with it. I'll think of different ideas. Sometimes when I lay this all out, when I'm actually driving to the studio, is when I start to get creative with, okay, in this position we can do this, this, and this. So this is kind of just like a backbone. I really don't get too specific when I am building out my classes, because then you just, I feel like you stress yourself out thinking like, okay, what did I plan next? What do I have to do next? And it shouldn't be like that. This should kind of just be here to help you have a backbone and a template of what you want to teach, and then you can always deviate and kind of change things up and not feel like when you look at it afterwards you're like, oh, I forgot to teach this and yeah. So after supine arms, I'll have them roll up, and then we will grab onto the long box. So once we have a long box, I'm gonna do chest expansion. Modified because they're going to be sitting on the box, and then we'll have them seated, and then here in notes I can put like on long box facing tower end of reformer. We're going to do neutral spine. They're going to be sitting up nice and tall, and then it's going to be the one red spring. All right. From here, I'll have them go into some probably like bicep curls using the straps in the hands. Bicep curls. If you're a Pilates instructor and you're watching this and you're cringing with how I plan these classes, it's just, I've gotten to the point where I do this all in my head, and sometimes I will write things down, but my brain works a lot differently than when I write this down, so just ignore me. So we're going to do bicep curls, and then we can also do some assisted roll downs with like little pulses, up an inch, down an inch. This is seated. We'll go to one red, and then we're in flexion as we roll back. Now from here, I think this is where I want to do the series of 5. So we'll add it in. And what I like about doing this series of 5 on the long box is when we're on that one red spring, so they'll lay all the way down on the box and their head will be resting on the foot bar. And I like it because with that one red spring, it really, really makes them think about their control of the body, because you can feel the carriage start to move around when you're on that one red spring if you're kind of just rushing through these exercises. Especially when you're doing crisscross and your body is twisting from side to side, like the carriage can shake a little bit since you're on that one red. So I don't know, I kind of like doing it here. It just gives them extra awareness of what's going on with their bodies. So from here, I'll have them roll all the way up, and then we will go ahead and lay on their stomachs, and we'll do swan and do swimming here. So get some extension through the spine. So now they're going to be prone, and then still on that one red spring, and then we'll go into extension. All right, and then from here, I can also have them bring their hands closer to the center of the foot bar and then work some triceps. Okay, good. And then after that, what we'll do is we'll step off of the box. I'm gonna have them walk in front of the carriage and then kind of just push the box away, going into a forward fold, and then pull it right back in. So I'm just gonna call this push box forward. Okay, and then this is gonna be standing. And then just to get a little bit of flexion after that extension. With swan and swimming, I might also have them go into like a goalpost, like extending the arms and then pulling them back in. I love it. I love doing those. All right, and then here we go into flexion. All right. Oh, you know what? When we're sitting for the bicep curls and assisted roll downs, I think I'm also going to add in some rotation and have them hold on to one strap and then lead with the elbow, find the twist, keeping the hips anchored, come back to center. So I'm going to go ahead and add that bicep curls, twisty twists, let's just call it that, and assisted roll downs. And then that way we can add in some rotation there. Perfect. All right, from here we can have them switch to short box. And I'm gonna have them staying on that one red spring because we're not gonna go into the short box series, but I will have them do some squats. So I'm gonna put squat series here. And what we'll do, they're gonna be standing, seated. I'll put seated. Maybe I should add a squat option here. On that one red spring, I'll have them start by sitting on the center of the box with their heels like in a mid-high heel position. And then they'll go up and down into some squats. This is just a neutral spine here. And then from here, I'll have them maybe lower one foot down and keep one heel elevated. Do squats like that. At the end of the squats, we can do like 10-second holds and 10 pulses. This will be after each, with both heels elevated and then with one heel elevated and then the other. So we'll do that. And then from there, we'll go into the long stretch series, but not everything. So from here, with long stretch series, we'll do pushing out into a plank. So their heels will stay up on the box. And then they'll push out into a plank. That one red spring, a lot of core. And then this is just neutral spine here. And then we'll do, let's see, from here we can do jackrabbits as well. And then we can kind of do a little variation from there, like mountain climbers. So as they press one leg out, their other leg can come in, and then they can reach the leg over the box as they bend one leg in. This probably makes no sense to you, but this is kind of just what goes on in my mind. So I'll just put jackrabbit series. I don't know why I'm erasing that to lowercase the J. Maybe because everything else in the notes section is lowercase. Jackrabbit series. Okay, and then from here we can, let me also add short box. And then here, short box. Just so I remember that I switched. Okay, and then from here I can have them put the box away, and then we'll definitely just go into a nice mermaid. So that stays on that one red spring. We'll do seated, and then one red. All right, and then definitely going into some side bend here. Okay, and then we'll do it on each side. I think before, so we'll start on one side, and then before we go to the other side, I'll have them face the back of the reformer, and we will do reverse abdominals. So reverse, just put abs, just as a little transition. So then from here, we're also doing just a neutral spine. I'll have them first hinge at the hips, drive the knees in, and then have them use their arms. Depending on what time we're at the class now, I'll see if maybe we have time to do some obliques from there, maybe some bird dogs, and then we'll go to mermaid on the other side, depending on, like I said, where we're at in the class. From here, I will have them say goodbye to our one red spring series, and then I'll have them do a red and a blue. They're at the home stretch. We'll lay down for some bridges. I love doing bridges. Whoa, I do not know how to type. I love doing bridges at the end of class on a lighter spring tension, just to activate the hamstrings a little bit more. This is great because from here we can just end with feet in straps. I don't necessarily always end with feet in straps lately because depends on the class, but lately I've found a lot of joy in just changing things up. So, but for this class, we'll just end with feet in straps, and then this will be a red and a blue. And then for bridge series, we'll just put neutral and neutral. All right, and then from here, for the bridge series, I'll have them do like a modified semicircle. So lifting the hips up, lowering down as they press out, and then we'll reverse with reverse, feet in straps, and then we'll finish off with some stretches. I usually like to end my class with a little meditation as well. So they can choose a stretch at the end to just kind of indulge in, and then I'll sometimes read a little passage, or I would just have them really focus on their breath. So yeah, this is kind of how I plan my Pilates classes. I've gotten to the point where I can do this all in my mind, but like I said, sometimes it helps to just write things down. I really don't write out every detail. I will say that I used to write out every single thing, and in the beginning, it helped me so much. I think because I went through all of that effort, planning every single one of my classes throughout my teacher training, it helped me get to this point where I can kind of do this with my eyes closed, or I can plan this all out in the car on the way to the studio. Depending on, this is a very all levels class. We're not doing anything too crazy here, so if I did have someone new sign up for the class tomorrow, then this wouldn't be an issue. I would just ask them if they had any injuries, and maybe we would modify some things. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some inspiration into maybe putting a little more effort into planning your next Pilates class. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and to subscribe for new videos. And I think that's about it. I think it's about time I finished my coffee as well. So I will see you next time. Bye.